a big yard here.
Yeah,
We
you
need
have
yard
your
space.
backyard. right?
Let's reconvene.
Move to reconvene.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay, we now need to go through committee reports. Okay, so there are quite a few reports there, and thank you so much for taking the time to do those. You had an extra one from South Crew there. I put a bulletin because if you are interested in the Digital Future conference, we went to such a conference with Councillor Edmonds last year. If some of you are interested to go in Medicine Hat, you may want to let...
The report she's talking about is right here.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
all right.
Just for information purposes, the Net Foundation had their meeting yesterday, and also Mormon Trail was yesterday, so there's no reports.
No, I understand that, and it was the same thing with South Grove. We didn't.
Yeah.
We have our meeting tomorrow, so I don't know.
So it'll be there next.
No. I appreciate what you have. If you have any question regarding some of them, if not, I will address the power, and we need to have Councillor Edmonds talk about the library. Go ahead, Councillor Edmonds.
Yeah, the library is in the process of going through their bylaws and making sure that they're up to date. So I got a copy of our bylaw, which is 1539, which approved in 2005, and a lot of things that are in here no longer are true. So I would like to make a motion that we ask administration to go through the bylaw and update it and bring it up to date so that we can then provide it to the library so they can update theirs.
Okay, I think it's a good motion. Any questions?
So explain, so we have a bylaw regulating the library board?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I see, and then it needs to be updated?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I understand we have the next committee of review for bylaws. Councillor Creed, Councillor Edmonds.
Yeah, we haven't met yet.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Next
so
couple
right
weeks
now what
probably.
we're going to do, we just need to give direction to administration to upgrade that library bylaw. Okay, so that's on the table. So all in favor? Thank you. All right. Regarding the power, we had the opportunity to be invited by Chief and Council, and instead of a meeting that really was cordial and helped us to realize that there is much support for this. And we also had a chance to kind of look at what could the blood tribe bring to the table to help us. If you remember, we always have some hidden costs, which was secretarial, etc. And we were trying to see how we could spread this between us. And we are really getting quite a bit of support. They're giving us a secretary for our meeting. And they also will provide us with volunteer students from their summer program over 2 days, which is going to be quite significant for us. And they will deal with creation of poster and printing and circulation, advertising. They also will do for us, right up to Montana. They're going to do it right. They want this event to be successful. They will also put a lot of effort in helping us with the announcers, with Princess Pageant organizer, and people for the registration and tabulation. The Secretary Georgette will be at the table so that instead of having to contribute to the honorarium for 4 people, I will be there with her, and so we will only have to deal with worrying about the cost of 2 people. The reason why we thought that a 2-day powwow would be good this year is that we have an opportunity to write a multicultural grant, and Jeff has tasked Tyler to do so. That grant is pretty well written at this point. It's a strong grant. What we need to add to that grant is a component that is not native. And I felt that it is a fantastic way for us to add a Southern Alberta style entertainment that could be a Western style, or could include music, band, dance, and whatever else we can come up that would fill the in-between as entertainment. And we draw crowds from our town and from the county. And we really want to try to get local artists to do that. That would be a good way to beef up our multicultural grant. Last year we were told we could have had it had we had that component. So this year we made sure we had it. And you would say, okay, is that going to cost twice as much? No. The way it's going to be, Dexter explained to us that the way powwows are designed when they're over 2 days is to take the prize money that has been allocated and to stretch it over 2 days. In other words, it's a true competition. So people compete over 2 days for the prizes that are set, so we don't increase the prize money. And we don't add more money from the town or from the blood tribe. So the money comes with the $5,000 of the blood tribe or $5,000. Right now we have a multicultural grant for about $7,000. If we are successful, it'll leave us some money in the kitty somewhere.
Mayor Kronen, as a councillor, I would suggest that we write a thank you letter to the blood tribe, thanking them for their invitation and for us to meet with them. And I think this is momentous as bridging the gap. And I think a letter to the blood tribe council would really be fitting.
I appreciate that. It was good, and I think the fact that Dexter has worked with us for the past two years almost, since we had the ceremony with the headdress, has done a lot of mending of those relationships for us. We're on our way. It's good.
You actually suggested, because we had the headdress ceremony, that maybe at the powwow, if you had some kind of a celebrity, like somebody from the Card family that has connections there, we could also make that an announcement or event at the powwow as well. So
yeah, and I really think you would have 2 days to advertise your Chautauqua. So if you could figure out a way to kind of put it in a nutshell to help us understand what that is and drum up interest.
Could I request our administrator, because he's working with the other administrators, they've got a sort of a byline on this Chautauqua and this Mormon Trail, and Jeff has got a lot of information on that. If he could ask how they could incorporate the powwow and the Chautauqua advertisement in a lump, is that what you're suggesting there?
No, what I really think, I think that in person, for example, Councillor Peavoy could come and say, here is a great event that's coming up, this is what it represents, this is why we're holding it, make sure you come and drove and come and see it. That's
Great.
all. Something like that, or
Or,
something like that.
or present a little preview of something that's going to happen at the Chautauqua, a little dance or, you know, that.
Something of that sort. If you can try to think about
Yeah,
a small short segment.
you bet.
Okay, so that's a way. But in order to carry on with that, I think we need this council to kind of tell me if we are in business for today's power, essentially. Right now, we have the money.
It's going to be held in July,
July.
and it's celebrating,
It's going to be in between the 50th celebration of stand-up power, which is going to be big, and the Sultana one.
And the which?
Sultana, I think it's called.
So when they're looking for something to do between that one and that one,
Yeah, so in other words, they're going to start to come down in order to go. So. Okay? Yes, Jeff?
There was an inklings of a motion of sending a letter to the blood tribe.
yes.
Do you want to solidify that at all?
I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter, thank you for the invitation and the
Support for the
support of the powwow
Okay.
to the
2006.
Blood Tribe Council,
Okay.
Chief and Council.
All in favor? Thank you. And to give you a sense the way it's going to be designed, we're going to have 4 of the councillor as members of the committee. Councillor Creed has been kind enough to say will be one of the elected officials, I'll be the other one. We're going to have our chair, and then we have a position that still needs to be filled. We need to see a little bit what happened with the terms of reference that needs to be rewritten. And the people who already have served for 2, 3 years, 4 years, I mean, what happened to those positions, we're still not clear on that. Okay?
Mayor, do we need a
Yes.
motion to address those terms, or is that just, that can come to us
Okay,
for a vote after they?
what we're going to do, I have sent the terms of reference to Jeff for revision, kind of, because there is some stuff there that doesn't fit. So we thought to bring it to CCW next
Yeah,
time.
CCW next week.
Okay?
Now, Mayor, I'm going to go back on the Chautauqua. At CCW, could you give the Chautauqua people, myself and Councillor Peavoy, 10 minutes if we can obtain this short presentation? You
I
know,
can get it.
pardon me?
I can get it. I can get it ready.
If we can get this short presentation, there's Darlis Coolidge.
Yeah, no doubt.
She brought out what Chautauqua was all about.
Okay.
And it's very, extremely interesting. Yes,
Okay.
it's a video.
Put it on the agenda.
Yeah, just put Chautauqua on, it's done. There we go. Okay. All right. Any other thing? So essentially, that's where we at with that. I thought you needed to know a little bit more clearly. Anything else, Councillor?
Yeah, I'll just mention this now, and then I think it'll come up in another meeting, but, you know, we've had some issues, you know, on the EMS, the fire, you know, some questions on, you know, insurance, collecting insurance for firefighting.
Right.
I think, maybe, I don't know, the committee of the whole or some other meeting, we need to have a discussion on, Jeff has mentioned, you know, the philosophical discussion
Yes.
is should taxes pay for firefighting, or should we be billing people for firefighting? Because we have a discrepancy between the town and the county. The county has actually passed a motion that they will bill people for firefighting. The town has not passed any such motion, and
But
we need to have a
Councillor Creed,
discussion.
the reason why the county has to bill their people, because farm people do not carry insurance, fire insurance.
Can't buy insurance.
You can't buy insurance because of the distance involved and so forth. But in-town residents, it's a requirement of your insurance, that you have fire insurance.
So if that was the case, then why do we even have a problem?
But,
Well, we don't have a problem, the county has a problem.
Occupied.
No.
Yeah.
What
We
Councillor
actually do have the
Barfuss is saying is we have one particular home where the insurance has said the insurance will not pay
won't
for
cover.
the cost of the firefighting.
So it's obviously not a requirement, maybe we need to make it a requirement.
So then that's the discussion I think we need to have.
This fellow had insurance.
They don't want to cover.
It's
it.
the
They won't
insurance that
cover
won't
it.
cover
They've
the
had a big battle
firefighting
over
cost.
this policy.
Oh, because he
So
wasn't
they fought over it, and he thought he had, so.
But
that's-
that's it's a different component of insurance. You can have fire insurance on your home, but that fire insurance doesn't always cover the firefighting costs.
Yes.
You know, it covers your home, but it doesn't cover the
It's
cost of the
covered
fire
the cost
department.
generally up till now.
So, anyway,
Can we put that on CCW and try to see what other towns are doing regarding that issue? I'm sure we probably have
I know.
some other towns that have to deal with this issue before we have more of the same.
Can I ask one thing?
Yeah.
Please.
First on that, yes, absolutely, we can put it on the agenda. Whether I have feedback from other towns by Friday when you get your agenda is another story.
Well, we put it
Yeah.
somewhere down next month.
And then Councillor Creed and Barnes, I wouldn't normally do this, but we have these committee reports that I'm supposed to be getting asked to do something, Danny tells me, and I never get asked to do it, so I'm going to bring it up. The town billed emergency services for the use of the water truck. And Danny took exception to it because of the amount. And is asked, he keeps saying he's going to take to you as the board whether the town wants to look at a policy on the amount we bill to non-arm's length parties. Is that coming up at your board meetings?
Yeah, it came up 2 meetings ago.
Okay.
So it needs
So
to be
do you want me to
reported.
pursue it? I guess is what I'm wondering.
Yes.
There is some wisdom in, we have a different fee schedule for non-arm's length
Yeah.
groups, and Danny keeps bringing it up, and I keep saying, tell your councilors to bring it up at committee reports.
I think it was in my report.
Yeah, it was in your
Okay.
report.
What, can I ask what the county is doing with their big water truck? Do they bill CC, the emergency services?
They do, but they bill at a different rate than what they would to a private individual, which is what Danny's proposing for us to have.
Yeah, because we build in basically what we would use for our machine and man time rate, we would use for capital projects, which is a high rate, I totally acknowledge that. So that's why he keeps kind of ribbing me about it, and I said, hey, I got no direction to do anything on it, so.
Okay, all right, so essentially councillors, if you have requests from your committee, make sure you spell it out in your.
So could I get
your
a motion to
reports.
pursue a policy regarding non-arm's length parties?
Okay, Councillor Barfuss.
I move to direct administration to pursue a policy regarding non-arm's length policies in our rates for.
Emergency services.
Well, not just
For
emergency services.
the water truck.
No, not just specifically for
No.
that.
Any-
A more
any-
broad-based policy for
Emergency services.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Non-arm's length.
All right, so,
Services.
Yes, non-arm's length
okay,
services.
so all in favor? Okay, all right, we have one more and then we need
Got your
to,
direction.
we need to deal with this quickly.
Can I just ask real quick why we're blacked out here? What was the?
Because
It's
I
name-
just
it's-
felt
it's a
I didn't need
FOIP
the
issue.
name of the guy in town whose house insurance wouldn't cover it. So I
It's-
just-
Public information.
It's a
That's
FOIP
public.
issue, Councillor, it's
Yeah.
FOIP.
Yeah.
And anything that reveals people's name or whatever should not be in your
Okay.
report.
And I don't always worry about names, you saw them in other places, but this was, I don't know, I just thought I would err on the side of caution here.
Yeah.
There's
Good
a lot
idea.
of-
All right, but
Yeah.
it doesn't change the fact that we know who the.
Yeah, it's not relevant to the specific
The
policy.
principle
Yeah,
remains.
the principle.
It's a,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so if you can see in your packet, you have Alberta Community Crime Prevention Association willing to have us declare the month of March, is it?
Yes.
Yes, for fraud prevention. I really feel that if we're going to support that, we need to do an education piece that go with it. It's no good to declare it if you don't have something specific to do, to go with it. The topic is important. There are fraudsters in town. This week I have been called twice with the income tax fraud. And people need to really understand it's a serious matter. There's a lot of people who are really dishonest in this world, and they're targeting people who are vulnerable.
Well, the income tax thing is a vicious
Well,
scam.
this one is vicious and it's
you know,
aggressive.
We got the phone call,
Launched again.
I'll tell you, we got the phone call, we had just received our tax notice back and our refunds, and we got, the day after, we got the phone call saying that we were being
$5,000.
charged and that we needed to answer this, call this number, blah, 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 blah. And of course, my wife, basically, she tried to get a hold of the guy to tell him to take a hike, but they couldn't get back.
No, and you don't, if you read the article in a paper,
My wife went right to the RCMP.
okay, I called the RCMP too, but in fact, you need to call the fraud squad. And there is a phone number that you can get.
Unfortunately, there's
Yes.
nothing that they can do
There's a
about
lot
it.
of
It's all
bank
happening over
scam
the-
going on right
Yeah, but you have to be careful, really careful.
Just on this one, I phoned Mrs. Lillian Jones, who's the executive director, and said, look, if we do this, do you have any support material to give us? Because about all we can extend at this point in time, being the third week of February,
Right.
is that we would use our website and social media platform to educate. So she said, yes, we would get stuff every week supporting that theme of the week to
Perfect.
disperse in the community. So-
All right, so can you do,
Just to follow up on that, is it the intention then that our town/administration is the primary disseminator of this information?
we will
it would
disseminate
have to
the
be.
information,
So
yes.
somebody else in town would be stepping up to do any education piece?
Do you know something? It doesn't preclude the RCMP of doing their bets in a newspaper.
And the RCMP recently have had us put the information on the Canada Revenue Scam. They've been
Yeah.
sending us information to post to get the word out as well.
Right.
So they are actively doing that. But if you choose to do this, and I know there's differing opinions on declaring months, but, or weeks or days, they said they would provide us with that weekly theme through the month.
So,
Let me put a plug in there. This is where that electronic sign out on the front would be
Yes.
excellent,
Absolutely.
you know, for advertisements such as this. I'm sorry, but that could
keep on
be...
plugging, we may get it one day.
Hey, I wished we would.
Not with the last quote I got, but that's another story.
Hey, when
I said
I
one
just,
day.
I heard that Councillor Bengry was actually gonna donate that, so.
What's a marquee?
Is that the scam you heard?
Councillor, we're going to really wrap it up, but what's a marquee, an electronic marquee cost?
Well, we looked at one that was double-sided that could go here on a stand that was covered. It was $60,000.
Okay.
So we looked at another one that would be mounted on the wall, so up high on the Civic Center, that comes down to about, remember what that was, Shem? 8?
8,000?
Yeah, I
We
mean,
can
essentially
afford
it's just an outdoor
8,000,
TV.
maybe we can dream for the 60.
But what if you didn't have a two-sided one? What if you had one facing the street, only the marquee on the one side?
Well, that's what we're gonna look at, but we gotta get it high enough, because if you got people parked in the front, we've gotta get it up on the building probably.
You know, because I went past a school in Lethbridge
Okay.
today, and they have electronic signs, just fantastic.
We're looking.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so council, do you want to declare the month of March as a fraud prevention? In this community, maybe not a bad thing to
Yeah,
do.
I think it's very relevant to what we're experiencing, and I think this is a good year. I don't know if we do it every year, but certainly March 2016, if administration's willing to take that on, I think that's a good
Okay.
thing to pursue.
All right,
And I would move that we do that,
with an educational.
with an educational piece, yeah.
I'd just like you know that I might not be at the next council meeting because there's a warrant out for my arrest.
Oh,
Canada Revenue.
you'll just wire it, guys.
Classic.
Yeah,
All right, councillor, there's a motion on the table, all in favor?
Yeah.
All right, anything else that you want to talk about before we close? Nothing? All right, give me a last motion.
Well,
We have this one,
Move to
Yeah.
the camera.
oh, yes, you can.
Yes, yes, give me the motion to move into
I just moved
camera.
to the camera.
Perfect, all in favor? Thank you to the media.
I'm glad we